Hey there, guys. Welcome back to the channel. A great guest coming on today. Everybody knows this woman. Welcome to the channel, Laciiii. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you just even asking me to come on. I've been seeing all your lives and all your fun guests and everything, and I'm just honored to be included in that. So thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Of course. Well, it's not a big Longhorn party if we don't have you. So
Period. I am the party. That's what I keep trying to tell people, but you know what? It doesn't always translate, but you either love me or you hate me.
They'll find out over time. You know what I mean? That's how it is. They'll find out over time. And I appreciate you because you say what you feel, and you have uber confidence in our Longhorns. And sometimes you say the things that I'm thinking and don't maybe have the fortitude to say, and so I appreciate that. Thanks for speaking for me at times. There you go.
I'll say it because my thing is Twitter has gotten very I've learned a lot in the past few years, you know, navigating Twitter and navigating the ins and outs of college football on Twitter. And honestly, the mute game is 10 out of 10. Love that for me because it's so easy to sit there and drop a bomb. Drop a bomb that you know it's gonna piss people off, like it's gonna sit and ruffle some feathers. So like it's so much easier to sit and drop the bomb and mute it to where you're like, y'all go off, have fun.
Those are my favorite posts, when somebody does something that they know is going to draw a massive reaction, and then they like post a GIF or a comment right under, and they're like, "See you tomorrow."
Does it anyways? Like,
yeah.
Peace.
I mean, it's iconic, and obviously you're very skilled at getting people going, and it's fun to watch. So thanks again for being here. Let's hop back into a little rewind, go back to Saturday. If you don't mind, talk about a few of the things that you really liked from what you saw, and if there was anything that concerned you from the Colorado State win, what was it?
I really honestly, I just enjoyed Saturday as a whole. You know, I enjoyed it being a game that we didn't have to worry about after the second quarter. I enjoyed it being a game that we weren't sitting here wondering whether or not when our offense is going to get going, when are Quinn and Isaiah Bond going to, you know, mesh up? When are we going to start seeing more rotation on the D-line? When are we going to start seeing them stopping the run against a team that wasn't very good against running the football last season? So there are so many question marks and everything going into week one. And I feel like Saturday was the first time in a long time that we didn't leave having more questions. I feel like there are some questions that may not have been answered in the way that we wanted them to be, but I feel like we have a very solid identity. I feel like we solidified that identity on Saturday. And I think we did that just by playing our game. And it just made it very apparent that Sark was very prepared. Sark had us ready. And we haven't seen us get out to a start like that. Literally, we haven't had a season opener shutout since 2004. So, I mean, it's been a long time since we've taken care of business like that. And we've begged for it. You know, so long are the days of losing to Maryland in back-to-back years. You know, like, it's a great feeling after having to deal with what we've had to deal with the past decade. So I'm so excited about what we can see and what we did see on Saturday. It was really exciting. It was really fun. And like I said, it was one of those things that I didn't have to worry about it after the second quarter.
Yep.
And I just got to sit and have a good time, chill.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was like, you know, for a minute there, I think at the end of the first quarter, it's 10-0, and you're kind of like, it's still a game to where, you know, Colorado State scores, you're right back in that position. You're like, oh gosh, here we go again. Not that the Rice game was ever like in doubt last year, but it was definitely not a clean, well-played game on our half. And so, yeah, I fully agree with you. In that second quarter, everything happened positively for us, 21-0 in the second quarter. And after that, it was just like, man, we look cool out there. We look good. We're really fast. Now let's just watch people make plays through the second half. Because
we were a well-oiled machine on both sides of the ball, especially after that first quarter, which, it's the first quarter of the first game with a brand new rotation of receivers. You have a new you have 2 running backs that went down. So you have a new rotation at the running back position. You have a lot going into week 1. And so I think it's kind of expected for it to take normally a couple drives to really, really get it going. But once we got going, it was full speed ahead and there was no stopping us. And honestly, what was even more exciting was as soon as you saw the 1s come out, the 2s came in and there was no drop off. You did not see one single ounce of drop off. That offense and that defense was still humming. They were still going. Arch Manning.
Yeah, it's different. I think Eric Nolling said on Inside Texas said our second team would be ranked in the top 25.
Oh, I agree. I tweeted that. I think I tweeted that out.
Did you really? Okay, yeah. I mean, like,
it's true.
Arch, you're talking about Trey Wise, and you're talking about any of the receivers because they're all interchangeable. And essentially, I mean, we have starters, yes, but they all played a ton. And so it's like, oh yeah, offensive line. That's a salty offense that we're talking about with our team.
Yes.
And so that makes you feel really, really warm in your soul to know that, like, yeah, these Charlie Strong offensive struggle days are gone. And Tom Herman, struggling on the offensive line, running back room, wide receiver room, take your pick. He struggled with recruiting at all 3 at times. It's not that way anymore. And so there's that battered part of me that wants to, like, try to find more things to be worried about, more concerns. Try to talk myself into the Michigan game being tighter than it might be.
Yeah, for sure.
And it gets harder and harder to do so. The more and more you watch that game, I think I've rewatched it 2 or 3 times now.
Yep.
And so, but real quick before we get away from this one, was there anything about Saturday that maybe concerned you, or that you mentioned, we didn't see in the way that we like to see? Is there something that you're wanting to see answered in a different way or more assertively, maybe?
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to say that there was a little bit more to be said for the running back room, because I think for what we expected, having, your running back 1 go down, having, a very important depth piece go down literally the week after, that running back room is in kind of a tizzy. So there were a lot of question marks going into this game, and I really enjoyed what we saw from them going sideline to sideline. But with us going into week 2 versus Michigan, I really wish we would have seen a lot more of those physical, tough, up the gut runs that really would have kind of not mirrored, because obviously the Michigan defensive line is not the Colorado State defensive line, but you at least get a little bit more used to that ground and pound, that rough in between little pinball motion right there, and it's just one of those things that I wish we would have seen a little bit more of that. I'm not upset at what we saw from the running back room at all. Like, I'm not, like, we are being very nitpicky at this point, because I mean, at 52-0, you're gonna be nitpicky. It's 52-0.
At the same time, that there are much, much, much better opponents, and particularly defenses on the schedule going forward. And I mean, I'm watching from the stands, and I'm kind of like, everything we're doing is we're hitting the edges. We're hitting the edges hard. We're in a ton of screens, and we looked really, really, really good doing that. We're very, very fast. But at the same time, Sark and Kyle Flood, they love the duo and inside zone concepts. That's where their bread's been buttered since they paired up together. And so I did find it curious, kind of like yourself. It's like, what will we look like when we do run the duo and the inside zone and those concepts that we kind of crush people with Bijan, Roshan, and then obviously all of the backs last year. But man, I miss JB so much.
Oh, same. Honestly, I know it's kind of crazy to sit and say now, and a lot of people will sit and talk shit about it, but at the end of the day, if Jonathan Brooks is in that Sugar Bowl game, I think it's a different outcome.
Absolutely. Wholeheartedly agree with you there. Yeah.
Like, it's a different outcome if Jonathan Brooks is in that game.
And I mean, it's just tough because, we get 1 year of him being a starter, and it's not even a full year. And he technically wasn't even the starter at the beginning of the year.
He wasn't even. He didn't start the year as a starter.
So it's like, dude went and earned his spot, and then, earned his spot on the depth chart, and then got his opportunity to be the guy, and obviously ran with that like not many do. And so definitely miss him. Sorry to bring up that emotional pain for us all.
No, literally.
we did the injury and the Sugar Bowl. We double dipped it there. But we're in good times. We're in good hands, But at the same time, it will be a lot tougher to run the football, even on the outside zone concepts and the wide zone concepts against better defenses. So yeah, I'm curious to see what it looks like when we do have to get, the tougher yards up the middle. And that's not knocking our guys. We believe in them.
No, not at
We need to
all.
see it. We got to see it,
Well, and especially headed into week 2, we're going into Michigan where I expect it to be a very run heavy type of game. I expect it to be a game that is dictated by which team runs the ball more efficiently, which team runs the ball better. And I think that that inside zone run is going to be a big part of that. And like you said, it's just something that we didn't see a lot of on Saturday. That, I kind of said it in a Locked On Longhorns episode that I didn't necessarily expect them to provide us the test that we wouldn't necessarily need going into week 2. But at the same time, at least it would have gotten the juices flowing a little bit more. It would have gotten you a little bit more used to that, like I said, that inside zone run, the really tough physical runs, the physicality and everything like that. So it was just one of those things. Like I said, we're getting very nitpicky, and it's not necessarily something that I was upset with because we still saw a lot of production out of that backfield. So it wasn't something that I was upset about, but it's something to take into consideration heading into a game versus Michigan.
No, absolutely. Yeah, and that's all it is. We're being really nitpicky here. I mean, it's like we're wanting them to hit. I tweeted at halftime we're up 31 points, and I'm like, I want a deep shot, and that's just strictly because I'm sitting there with watching with a buddy and his kid, and I'm like, I want little buddy to see Quinn throw 145.
Have fun.
Yeah. And it's like, do we need to put that on film for Michigan? Probably not. Michigan, they're gonna know that we're capable of taking a deep shot with Quinn anyways.
Oh yeah.
And just like they're gonna know that Sark loves inside zone, so it's like, I wish we'd have just tested it out. But we got next week. That's a big one. What are your initial thoughts heading into Texas and Michigan? How confident are you? What worries you? Did you watch any of Michigan?
I did watch a little bit of the Michigan game, and speaking purely as an obviously unbiased, objective Texas fan,
right.
Obviously I feel a lot more confident headed into Ann Arbor after this past weekend, not only based off of our own performance, but based off of what I saw from Michigan as well, is particularly on the offensive side of the ball, because their defense, I feel like, is still going to be tough. They still have those really good pieces that were basically the anchors of their defense last year, of that very, very, very good national championship defense, so it's still going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game for our offense to get it going and everything like that. But I'm more interested to see how our running game, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but how well our running game actually ends up being in Ann Arbor, just because we know what to expect from the passing game a little bit more, because we were able to see a lot of the different guys. And I do think we will see a more quote unquote solid rotation this weekend. Agreed. I don't think we're not gonna be rotating, and there's not gonna be 12 guys getting how many guys 11 guys getting touches. So that's not gonna happen on Saturday. I don't expect it to happen on Saturday, but it's just one of those things that I definitely feel a lot more confident, like I said, based off of how we looked. But that Michigan offense looked pretty suspect to me. I wasn't super impressed with their quarterback play. I wasn't. Donovan Edwards is Donovan Edwards, but honestly, I thought that their backup running back may have looked a little bit better than Donovan Edwards did. But it's just one of those things. It's week 1. It's hard it's hard to sit and say definitively, because just like I feel like Sark only scratched the surface of his playbook to give tape to Michigan did the exact same thing. So I don't expect them to look like they did versus Idaho.
Right. And you have to, these coaches aren't dumb. Think about how Texas looked last year against Rice, and then what they looked like last year against Alabama. And that's a 7-day difference in those two games being played. And those are two completely different Texas teams. There's no doubt that Sark has been preparing for Michigan for most likely months. And same for Coach Sharon Moore over there. Assuming he believed he was still going to have a job in Michigan, because I mean, who knows what's really going on behind the scenes with those guys?
No clue. That is a shit show up there.
Yeah, it stinks too, because like I liked Harbaugh being at Michigan. I liked him making Michigan relevant. I think the game's I mean, I hate to be one of those cliche blue blood guys, but like I think the game's better when particular blue bloods are relevant again.
Yeah.
And to have this all happen right before we go up there, and it takes a little bit of, just a small amount of luster from the game. A little bit of the lore goes away, because it's like they're not the same team. They had all this stuff happen, and so I mean, it's still a really, really cool matchup. But I do hate that they're in it, and at the same time, I'm not smart enough to have any clue about what's to happen up there. But it definitely, there are rumblings of something going down eventually. Have you heard anything, or do you know anything about Michigan and potential trouble?
Wait, potential trouble for what? I missed that.
I don't know. There's just a lot of people
in general,
coming around saying that something soon could be dropping in regards.
I don't know,
Michigan.
honestly.
But there's always,
when they came out with a documentary about it, like, you're coming out with a documentary about it. You're sitting here having very, very open conversations about it. I understand, there's still shit happening behind the scenes. I guarantee you, there's still a lot of information we don't know as the public. But at the same time, why make a I don't understand why you would make a documentary publicizing it like that if you were still working on sanctions. That doesn't really.
I don't know. And I mean, like, all of the untold things are nothing but fluff pieces anyway. So it's not like it was going to give away any real legitimate information in that.
Exactly.
There's nothing in the Swamp Kings. There's nothing in the Johnny Manziel Untold. There's nothing in the Connor Stallions Untold that we didn't already know. It's untold about shit that we already knew, and it never, ever, ever reveals any of the real dirt. It's
just confirming what you already knew.
Yeah, and
it's just getting the confirmation from the horse's mouth on the situation.
Yeah. Right. And I'm like, I need like footage of him like texting his buddies like, hey, go down 10 more rows. You can't get the OC from your seats. You got to get down lower, or something. I need the real dirt.
More concrete proof. I need to know that he was in these guys' DMs. I need to know that he was there at 2:00 in the morning trying to slip stuff to people and getting stuff from other people. Like, I need to know that stuff. I'm a chismosa. Like, I'm one of those. I like the tea. I'm nosy. I like the drama. I don't like drama with me. Like, I don't like drama personally. Other people's drama, I'm satellites. I'm sitting here.
Especially college football drama, going to be in and around every bit of that regarding who. It doesn't matter who it regards
at all.
I need like I need footage of his like maniacal laughter when he realizes like he like breached Ohio State's like cloud data. His reaction just
literally. I don't know. I'm just excited for the football season just in general. It seems like we're in that weird spot, and I kind of said it before, but we're in that weird spot of like January feels like last week, but it also feels like 8 years ago. So it's like, because even after Saturday, I feel like we're like, even though we were good last year, and I was really proud of how we performed last year, obviously, we are better this year. I think that we are a more confident team. I think that you really, really, really saw the maturation this past Saturday. I think you saw it on the offensive side of the ball with Quinn. I think you saw it on the defensive side of the ball with Jade. Jade stepping up and really, really being that vet in that room. I'm just really excited for what the future of Texas football has to hold, because if that second half and that second string Texas offense is any indication of what we can look forward to.
Yep. It's going to be special. It's definitely a special
I'm going to
time.
be an asshole.
Well, I mean, it's so far so good on your prophecy about, Texas basically letting the SEC feel it when we get here. And so you'll always have that to just clap back on anybody who was like, they're going to stink. It's a new schedule now. It's funny because people still said that this offseason. And I really expected that SEC, like Texas isn't built for that, to chill. But I guess they really were convinced that beating Alabama and Tuscaloosa by double digits, being their only loss of their regular season before they lose in overtime to the national champions, I guess that didn't prepare any of them for Texas being relevant again. So to each their own. We knew deep down what was coming, and
we telling them.
Kudos to you for saying it out loud and with your chest, because that was a legendary video. You know what I mean?
Period. I got a lot of hate for that video.
I got texts about that from Aggies when they were like, "Bro, do you feel this way?" They were like, "Bro, do you feel this way?" And I was like, and this is one of those moments where I'm like battling. I'm like, well, I mean, maybe, but
you're like, I mean, I kind of do, but do I want to admit it?
It's like, yeah, because then they're gonna have my text forever. And I've posted a few text conversations on the old timeline before, making fun of my buddies, and so I know that I've got 1 or 2 or 20 of those coming back at me. But
which is fair. But my thing is, how I got started into Texas Twitter and into sports media, talking Texas football, talking Texas sports in general, was I got on Twitter one day like 3 years ago, and I've always been a scroller, but I've never really interacted. So I've seen a lot of the Texas accounts and everything over the years. I loved Chuck Effin Strong. Was literally one of my favorite accounts on the face of the human earth.
What a guy.
Easily the best Texas account, in my opinion, that's ever existed. It was amazing.
He's still out there, but he just
I believe that.
He won't go back to his account.
And that makes me sad.
Because he has insane skills. And I know that he's been pushed to get back. Yeah, he won't do it. And so
that makes me so sad, though. Like, that makes me so sad, because the one-liners and the inside jokes that we got from that were just,
I mean, he's talking about slides and we're losing our mind. You know what I mean? Like Buddy posts a picture of a slide, and you would have thought we just watched 2 hours of like Shane Gillis's like most elite stand-up or something. I mean, like, and
losing our ever-loving minds.
Yeah, he definitely was him, and that was one of the only, outside of, you know, obviously loving the players, one of the only bright spots.
Yep.
And then as soon as, you know, we made the change, you know, it's sad for me because I love Texas football. I'm all excited about Tom Herman. What a dumbass. Me, not you, Tom. Maybe both.
I was about to say, did you see my face? I went. You said not you, Tom, and I said side eye.
Well, I appreciate the support there. But yeah, my second thought, it was just like, is Chuck going to stay around? Like, Chuck Effin Strong has to stay around. He can't go away.
It made me so sad. And I don't know if it was the same person that ended up doing the Tom the Herman or whatever. But it just didn't hit the same. It wasn't as funny. No. It wasn't as good.
Well, it's just easy to do the Chuck thing because, like you said, there were so many simple one-liner jokes or one-liner references that, you know, to us that were hilarious. And no one had to work hard. He didn't have to work hard to get those reactions.
Well, because they made no sense and they were so out of pocket. Like, they were so outlandish and random that you're just like, where did you even come up with that? Like,
yeah.
He's the reason
go back to it. That's what you.
Since then, he's the reason that I call Iowa State Iowa State.
Exactly. Yes.
They are Iowa State because of Chuck. Like, he was just completely iconic, and I just loved what he represented for Texas Twitter. But my main point about all of that was that I really got involved in all of this by talking shit on Twitter. I started out as a troll. A lot of people probably still see me as a troll. I talk a lot of shit. I know that. Do I mean to troll half the time? No. I'm just talking shit. I'm just minding my business.
Okay. It's okay. I feel like, you know, you're just talking shit like that. That's okay. I don't think that makes you troll. Where's that line at in between?
That's where my question is, because my opinion on a troll is somebody that is actively, continuously poking at somebody to incite a reaction. So I can see how I could be viewed as a troll. I can totally get that part. I get it. But my thing is, I don't feel like I'm one that, because trolls, I feel like they know no bounds. Trolls seem to really tote that line of what's morally right and what the fuck are you talking about?
That's true.
And so I feel like that's the biggest difference is that, yes, I'm a quote unquote troll, but I'm a human being. I'm not a bot online. I'm talking shit. I'm not like, there's a big difference in having a face and being a human being and talking shit and having the balls to say it with your chest and then doing it for specifically engagement purposes just to period.
Well
period.
Said.
Just to incite that reaction, because my thing is anytime I'm talking shit, I have a point.
No,
like I'm trying to make a point.
That's my thing in defense of you is like a lot of these trolls, and I think Kyle nailed that pretty good about the engagement farming. And then most people on Twitter are pretty uninformed. Let's be real.
Sure.
It's what makes it fun sometimes because people have insanely wild takes and they just watch the same football game, But where, in my opinion, like you love Texas and you love Texas a lot more than you hate Oklahoma or A&M. Mm-hmm. Maybe not a lot, but it is definitely more love. And I feel like a lot of the trolls, are people who would rather see, A&M lose on Saturday than almost more than they'd see Texas win, or they love them more than hate them more than they love themselves. And so, I've never considered you in that light. I think that, you do a pretty good job of poking the bear, but at the same time, you obviously cover Texas very well. And, from volleyball to baseball, football, softball, you do it all. And so
I'm talking everything. I love, that's the thing about me is that my fire, my spark, my attitude comes from my love for the University of Texas. It comes from my love of our athletic department. It comes from my love of my alma mater, my university, a university that means so much to me and has really created and molded who I am as a human being now. So I love being able to sit and talk Texas sports and Texas football, baseball, basketball, volleyball, softball, all of the above. But I get where you're coming from in the sense that, like, the people that really, not that they don't have anything to lose, but they really don't have anything to lose because at the end of the day, they're not showing exactly who they are. They're showing exactly who they are on the inside, but they don't have the balls to do it on the outside.
Question, real sidebar, real quick.
No, that's a good question.
Okay. Nope, not a ton of pass rush. How did you feel about it, Laciiii?
No, that's a very, very good question. And honestly, I was a little concerned about that a little bit more just because we've heard all off season about how well our edge room has looked, how dominating Trey Moore has been, how he's been kind of that guy that you just can't even keep off the field. Even in spite of, bringing in Colin Simmons and, having vets like Ethan Burke and Barron Sorrell on the edges and everything like that. So I did expect to see a little bit more from the edges, but I will say we were still able to disrupt the rhythm of the quarterback without getting those sacks. It won't be that way later on. It will not continue that way. So that edge pressure definitely needs to be seen on Saturday. We definitely need to make that quarterback uncomfortable because once you make either of those quarterbacks that I saw on Saturday uncomfortable, that's where you get your turnovers. That's where you get your mistakes. That's where you get your misreads. That's where you take control of the game. So I wish that we would have seen a little bit more of it on Saturday, but I'm very, very, very impressed with how we were still able to disrupt the throwing motion and disrupt the quarterback in general, whether it be from the interior pressure or even just batted passes, getting your hands up, getting your hands on the ball, making the throw difficult, even if you're not getting that pressure.
And that's exactly right. I mean, sacks are a pretty stat, and you want to go see guys just run through the quarterback at times, especially with some of the big edges that we have nowadays. But at the same time, much like we talked about earlier in the show, with a very mundane game plan, we're not going to go out and show. And that's the thing. I mean, playing both sides of it real quick, I get it might be a little frustrating that we can't go 4-on-5 or even sometimes 3-on-5 against Colorado State's offensive line and record one sack. But like Laciiii is saying, we definitely got a lot of pressure. We made the quarterback move around, forced to pick up. He thought he had a deep ball that Jade ended up running under. And that
elite interception, by the way. Elite interception by Jade, by the way. That was a catch. That was a receiving catch.
He was going to catch that, absolutely, yeah. And then Jade just hawked him down and did it from a long ways away. But there was a lot of interior pressure on that play. Quarterback might have had to get rid of the football about a half second early, and next thing you know, it's Texas football. Jade's running down the sidelines a little bit. And so Laciiii made a great point there, but at the same time, I think that pressure will come. The more exotic we get, we're going to have a lot of different looks on defense. Laciiii mentioned us having a ton of edges. We're just seeing what all worked, man. We played 55 players in the first half. Now, if this is 3 weeks later,
amount of depth right now. Oh my God.
Absolutely. But if Trent, if you're still listening, if this is after the UTSA game and we still have 0 sacks, then Laciiii and I would be having a much different conversation.
Very different conversation.
Much different conversation with you. But apologies, Laciiii. Go back to talking about your love for Texas and kind of how it led you into where you are now.
No, you didn't have to apologize. I really liked that question because it was something I meant to bring up, but I forgot whenever we were talking about my concerns because we started talking about the running backs. But no, I started into Texas Twitter and into this whole game by talking shit. So for me, I am who I am. Like that's me. That's been me from the very beginning. You can see me as a troll. You can see me as the most annoying Texas fan on the face of the planet. You can see me as this dumb bitch that just has these horrible takes online. Like, I don't care. You can see me as whatever you want to. But at the end of the day, look where I'm at. And look.
So. Yeah, and you also have, proof is in the pudding. You have an epic video that you can go ahead and throw in any hater's face.
That one cracks
we talked about earlier, because I'm telling you, it's coming to fruition. It's on its way.
It better, because if not, I'm
being positive here for you. I'm rooting for you, obviously, and we'll benefit from that together, I hope. But at the same time, I think you do an excellent job. No, I haven't met a Texas fan that thinks that you're a troll. So obviously, that.
Yay! That's all that I care about is our fans. That's all I care about.
Exactly what I'm saying. Like, all that matters is what the ones that you care about, the ones that you call friends, and the place you call home. You take care of that. They're taking care of you. You don't worry about that. I've told you before. People. I get hate all the time for being nice to rivals. So whether you're nice, whether you're rude, somewhere in the middle, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do.
You're gonna get hate no matter what. If
you're gonna get some hate.
Mm-hmm. If you have an opinion, you're gonna get some hate. It just is what it is, unfortunately.
And I think that you and I both do a pretty good job of kind of laughing at the hate and just taking it, rolling with the punches. And I get
it right back.
I just love to screenshot stuff and send it to friends and family, and and just absolutely make fun of
behind you.
There you go, man.
I send it to all my friends. Like,
speaking of hate, there was some decent amount of hate watching going on Saturday. It was almost an absolutely tremendous amount of hate watching. I'm talking Texas Tech scathing by Abilene Christian.
My goodness.
This is funny. I got to confess to this. I picked Texas Tech to win the Big 12 championship on my prediction show, and they almost lost at home to Abilene Christian in week 1. What a time to be alive.
You know what? To be fair, that's kind of what you get for picking Texas Tech to win the Big 12 championship.
I've already deleted the video from the channel. So there's no proof.
You're like, I scrubbed it from the internet. It's no longer there.
You're like, why does everyone give a Big 12 championship prediction but you? It's weird. But
I thought it. You didn't hear it? It was
So Kyle's not gonna let me live that one down. He's definitely being on me about that, and I have a feeling I could regret that soon. But hey, at the same time, they're 1-0. Texas is 1-0. I think Baylor is 1-0. TCU is 1-0. There's another school just east of us that is not 1-0. Did you watch the Aggies and the Fighting Irish? What were your emotions? I know you had some good vibes running through the veins right there.
Oh yeah. So Saturday was a great day because I was able to go home to the DFW area, hang out with some friends and family. My best friend's birthday was on Sunday, so we had a big old bash to watch the Texas game on Saturday. It was super, super fun, and so we got to have a great time, watch the Texas game, have some fun, and then later on we all sat our happy asses on the couch and said, let's see what these little turds got going. So we started doing that, and they didn't get shit going. Ever. That shit was boring as hell.
That reminded me very much of their Miami game. I don't know if you watched, like 2 or 3 seasons ago.
That was bad too. Yeah,
it was like, man, it's really hard to watch because like it was a cool environment. Like it's like let's see a good football game.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm watching the game for the game, not to hear y'all's fans screaming. Like don't get me wrong, like hearing the environment sometimes you're like, damn, like it's rocking in there. That's cool. But I want to watch the football game. And honestly, we were talking about earlier about how we kind of felt like Texas didn't really leave much to be desired.
Yep.
A&M left a lot to be desired, especially on that offensive side of the ball. And I don't know if it was just a miscommunication with Connor and the receivers or the O-line just not giving him enough time or what, but that A&M offense is and
it's hard because I think they placed an unreasonable amount of expectations on that offense. Everybody, I mean, most people, I'm not saying you, a lot of people in this bracket were picking them to win that game, me included. I
did not.
I was very much, it was more about Notre Dame and less about A&M. I just didn't think that Notre Dame was going to look, because I thought they looked better than I anticipated by a good bit, to be honest. But I'm curious to what you thought. Was A&M beating Notre Dame 23-13 at Kyle Field on Saturday, August 30th, 2024? Was that more about Notre Dame being good, or was it more about A&M being bad?
That was the thing. And this was a discussion that I had with my best friend, because we were sitting there trying to rack our brains, because I'm like, I am struggling so hard watching this game, trying to differentiate between, is the offense bad or is the defense just really good? Which is it? Because these are two top 25 teams. Notre Dame's a top 10 team. So you're assuming that you're going to get good play on both sides of the ball from both of these teams. That is the assumption, or decent, maybe not good, but decent, with them being ranked.
That's fair.
So when you watch the game and neither of these offenses can get anything going, the defenses both look stout. They both look fairly good, but it was one of those things. Is it the offense looking horrible, or is it the defense that is just overpowering it? And my thing was, I think I struggled a lot with it because whenever I watched the USC LSU game last night, you could very clearly tell that those were two good offenses.
Yes.
You can very clearly tell that those offenses know how to run, that they can complete a drive down the field and end it in the end zone. You know?
I mean, I know that had to be hard for A&M. I mean, I'm really not trying to pile on them because it's so easy to do right now. But it had to be. I know, and that's why I love you. But I know that it really had to be a kick in the tail for them to watch the football game they watched, most of them with their own eyes, and then turn on Lincoln Riley and Brian Kelly's teams. And there might not have been a ton of points scored, but just the way they played offense. I mean, it was just so smooth, so easy. There could have been a ton of points scored.
Yeah.
But there was some good defensive play, to go back to your point.
And that,
you got two top 23 teams, and they were obviously LSU, USC were both pretty much talked a little about the defensive struggles in the offseason, for both. And it was one of the moments where it was like, can it get any worse? It has to get better. I think it got a lot better for both.
I think it did too.
What does it look like 3 or 4 weeks from now? That's where we can fully judge the whole scene. But it had to be rough, because
I think I feel better about the USC defense than I do about the LSU defense, which I was a little bit surprised by. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Yeah,
I expected to have a little bit more faith in the LSU defense than in whatever Lincoln Riley's been trying to do the past 2 years.
And that's why, because of Lincoln, it's hard to give them faith.
Exactly. I mean, he kept Alex Grinch all the way from freaking Oklahoma to USC just to have the exact same issues and look like shit on defense, but have a freaking high-powered offense. It's the exact same shit. So it was like, what part of insanity do you not understand?
Yeah, I mean, it was like blind faith. The defense had to get better, but it's like, it could not get any worse. It absolutely could not get any worse.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they look good, because I thought LSU's quarterback played really well. They've got great receivers, obviously. Run game wasn't like anything crazy, but John Emery runs really, really hard. I think he's going to be a great back. But, I mean, USC never quit. And that's something with Lincoln Riley in those games, against better teams, it just feels like he hadn't been able to get one done. And so I was very lucky because I had the same, I don't know if you saw it, but it's the professor walking in with the same shirt on every day, or like he walks in with like a different, and he's always the hello, yeah.
Hello.
Well, I had an LSU draft and a USC draft, because the LSU one was, hey, here's LSU showing up to lose their season opener every single year. And the USC one was, hey, here's Lincoln Riley showing up to lose another big game every year. And so it was like, this
Lincoln
is so
Riley
easy.
loses a big primetime game.
Yeah, I was like, Twitter.
LSU loses their 5th season opener in a row.
I mean, you're winning there. It's just funny what football season coming back will do for football related Twitter accounts. It's funny.
Oh, for sure. But I agree with you when you said that it must have been a real kick in the balls for A&M fans to watch that game last night, because you saw what your game probably should have looked like.
They're going to counter and they're going to argue and they're going to tell you that Notre Dame is a top 3 defense in America, maybe even team. And hey, it's week 1 of the season. It's already getting crazy and fun out here.
I'm staring at y'all into your souls.
It's going to be a beautiful season, because the takes that are already flying are great. And hey, maybe Notre Dame runs off. They have a terrifically easy schedule, and maybe go win it. Maybe they go win a natty. I would heavily bet against it.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Coping is coping. However you got to do it.
Hey, but you know what? If A&M fans want to waste their money and say that Notre Dame is the best team on the face of the planet, and that's just who they had to face week 1, go place your bets. Put your money where your mouth is, babes.
That's a great way. I'm gonna hop in all Aggies community on Twitter and say, hey, if the D is that good, bet on it. But
nut up or shut up, baby.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, definitely it's easy to get on those guys right now, but I'm gonna tell you right now, in 2 weeks they go to Florida, and if they lose that Florida game,
I am gonna be
that timeline. I already know that I'm gonna lose a lot of friends on that day, and I won't even go overboard, but it's gonna hurt a lot. It's gonna be painful.
Because the thing is you don't even have to necessarily say anything. Like I posted a photo of, it was the A&M logo, but it was doctored to read WTF. What's book?
Oh yeah. I saw.
And so I didn't say any words. I didn't post any hashtags. There was nothing. That's all I posted. That's all I said. The vitriol from some of the eggs in that comment section. Oh my God. Like the evil, like they're okay. Someone's mad. Someone got their feelings hurt. It's okay though. It's okay.
It's always like, I feel like 90% people that are just like, they're cool about it. They're frustrated in the moment. And it's like, they're going to send that tweet. They're going to feel so much better. And then they're just done. But then there's like that hanging 10%. They're like, I don't care what I have to do or say. I am going to make her day ruined the same way that she just ruined my day. And, and it's just like, come on, man. Like,
weird.
I've seen, you getting back into it with some folks in the comments, rightfully so, because there's a certain line. And they're justifying it by saying, hey, she's talking trash about my favorite football team. Well, I mean, like, national media is talking trash about your favorite football team when I mean, it's just how it goes.
And that's the thing. And that's the difference is like, there's a difference in sitting here hating on each other because we don't like the same football team, or you went to a rival school and I think your school colors are ugly. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and call you out your name. I may call you goofy. I may call you silly. I may call you dumb. I may call you names, but I'm not going to sit here and personally attack you. Like I'll say general shit talk, but I'm not going to sit here and take personal attacks. I'm not going to go after families or bodies or faces or weight or anything like that. And it's just one of those things where it gets difficult to deal with it sometimes, but it just, as I've kind of grown in Twitter and everything like that, because whenever I first started, I would respond a lot more with a lot more of like an actual snapback, like an actual clapback, like I got you. Like if we're going to sit here and make jokes, come on, let's make jokes. Because I guarantee you I'm funnier. So like, if you want to sit and make jokes, we can make jokes, but just get ready for it,
Yeah. Right.
And it's just one of those things that, like I said, that's just kind of how I started. That's who I am. That's who I am as a person. And if they don't like it, see you November 30th.
Yep. I mean, imagine Twitter on December 1st. Whatever happens. I mean, just I don't know if there's 31 days in November. I can't remember. I don't. Is
I
there?
don't
Yeah.
think
No.
so. I
I don't
don't
think
think.
so.
Hold on.
Good. Was
January, February, March. Do the knuckles.
I'm going just off gut, and I don't think there are, but December
I,
1st would
I
be
don't think so. I think it's hold
because
on.
there's 31 in October and December. Oh man.
Yeah, so it skips. Yeah, so there's not in November.
Okay, that's I don't want to have to delete this video too, but
Do we look like idiots? Do we look dumb? I'm just sitting here telling people that I'll call you stupid.
we're much more worried about 5-star recruiting and shutouts and big top 10 football matchups this weekend.
Period.
So we'll worry about months or days of the month later. But yeah, December 1st after the A&M Texas game, it will be a banner day for Twitter. Black letter day, red letter. It's going to be all those things. It just depends on your perspective on which one it is for you.
Yep.
And so it's going to be absolutely mad. I do have to be at Midnight Yell the night before. I do have to wear Texas stuff.
Did you say you have to? Hold on. I need the story. You have to?
Yeah. So last year, a bunch of guys on Twitter were like, hey, let's start up a Twitter fantasy league. So we do that. Great. It's half Aggies, half Longhorns. And we make a stupid bet where whoever gets
the bet was
dead,
coming.
whoever gets dead last has to attend Kyle Field for Midnight Yell. Texas to Texas A&M, the 29th, wearing Texas gear. Even if it was an Aggie, they would have had to wear Texas gear. And here's the thing is I finished tied for 6th, which was the last playoff spot, but lost a tiebreaker. I'm not in 12th. I'm in my head. I'm like, okay, I missed the playoffs. I'm done. Well, then there's the consolidate or the losers bracket essentially. And yeah, I didn't pay any attention. I got lost 3 straight matchups. And they're like, hey, it's you got to go to Kyle Field. I'm like, some people say I did it on purpose.
Since when? When did that happen?
Not true at all. I mean, a few of the Aggies that I've talked to about it, I mean, there's a couple dozen to be honest, because I'm trying to build as big of a support team as I can. Because I don't know what that scene is like, but I just want to get out alive, and so I'll go and embarrass myself.
That's a fair point. Maybe we're a disguise. Obviously,
I will literally go Connor Stallions in there.
Yeah.
I will go.
Hey, get a blue light. It's like get that blue light camera. Get your glasses on.
It's kind of crazy. I was at the Colorado State game, and we're
make him nervous.
What is he? He's filming the chat. That's it. I will get the phone out and I'll just film their. I don't even know what they're doing.
Just have a random notebook that you just start jotting in.
That they're the yell leaders little things. I'll the chants and all that. I'll just film it and they're gonna be like, "What is this weirdo doing?" And then
who is this?
We're getting your blueprint for our non-existent yell leaders that we'll never have. But
LOL.
Yeah, so I'm watching Saturday at DKR and I'm looking towards midfield because Sark was talking to Arch on the sideline, and obviously that takes precedence to everything else in my life. But
for sure.
I'm looking that way, and then something else happens, and I was holding the phone up to take a picture, and I was like, "Am I doing something wrong right now?" Because it's crazy.
You're like, "Wait a second, am I allowed to do this? Is this legal? Am I getting arrested?
Is this okay? Sark's gonna ban me from DKR for life?
Oh my god, that'd be so sad.
That would hurt a lot. I would literally have to become a ghost and float around.
Literally, you would literally be a ghost. R.I.P. to the homie.
Ooh, Taylor, this is pretty good, buddy. My guy over in College Station said, "Hold that beer." Yeah, that's funny.
Period. Period. He definitely did that.
It's tough. I think he hired some good coaches, but at the same time, you're in deep waters, man. And that's not saying Klein won't work out. It's not saying that he will. It's just you're in some deep waters, man. And so I know there are a lot of people that were when he's putting his staff together. A few he just didn't have the big names or the splash hires. And I'm not saying that he did wrong.
No,
it's just with the way the recruiting is. Obviously, you're deep into that world as too. You got to get some good results on the field. And recruiting's going to suffer quick. They do have a pretty big NIL game over there, and they'll be okay.
Yeah, but I mean,
talking about winning the big battles.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and on top of that, I mean, if you take into consideration the fact that when did Colin Klein ever beat Texas?
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, my daughter's first game was
what year?
Colin Klein, 2012.
Okay.
They beat us like 20.
Okay, but that's a long time ago.
Oh, you're talking about at K-State. Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about at K-State. I'm talking about the offensive coordinator at K-State. That's why I was like, wait, what are you talking about?
I immediately, like, when I hear Colin Klein's name, I go back. I would be honest, I like K-State football a lot. And when I hear his name, I'm thinking of the quarterback first. So when you say, did he beat Texas, I was thinking, yeah.
I get what you're, I get
he
it. He
did.
Yeah.
No, Kansas State is actually 0 for their last 7 against Texas. And
so as Texas fans, whenever we get the news that they hired Colin Klein,
you're like, oh, we've done that dance.
Love that for us. Because
there's something... Go ahead.
There is something to be said about that, though. 7 years, you had 3 coaches.
Yeah.
You had 3 different coaches in a time where Texas was at one of its worst that it's been ever. So, like, consistently over a long period of time. So, I mean, you had multiple chances with multiple different coaches to at least get something. And it was just never able to happen. So it was one of those that whenever the hire was announced, I was a little like, all right, say less.
The second hire was announced. They made one hire, but
that part.
It didn't last. It didn't
work out that way.
Long. And I'll be honest, I'll have an eye on Kentucky, and if their season's going really well, you know, there's a couple tweets I've been working on, but no, it's
you want to talk about karma? Karma would be Mark Stoops doing the damn thing at Kentucky. That's exactly what karma would be.
I wish they played so bad this year.
That would be amazing.
Kentucky's got several NFL players on that roster. Barian Brown's a monster. They've got defensive pieces. I wish they played this year. Instead, we get them, and we get them the week before A&M. Which is
right.
A little trappish. But,
I said that. I said that that's our trap game, and it makes me nervous. I don't like it. Even with it being at home, it makes me nervous because it's in between 2 extremely highly emotional games on the road.
2 big-time rivalries, both being restored. Everything about that game screams trap. We can win that game by 1 point. I don't care if we win 3-2 or if we win 94-93. Just beat Kentucky, which I know sounds insane when you're talking about football. I don't care at all. Win the game. November's trickier than most Texas fans gave it credit for when the original schedule came out. You know, everyone's so fixated on Oklahoma, Georgia, understandably so. But November is going to tell the tale with Texas. If we were to miss the playoffs for some reason, I don't think it comes because we go 0-2 against Oklahoma and Georgia. I don't see that. It becomes because we got screwy in November and
because we lose a game that we lose a game that we shouldn't have.
All right. And think about a situation where you do only have a 1 loss. You mess around in the Kentucky in the Kentucky game, you pick up a second loss, and now all of a sudden that A&M game is like you're playing for a playoff spot. And with all those goobers in there, it doesn't matter if you go if they're 0-11 or if they're 5-6. That is going to be war. And we like our guys, but prefer to have a little bit of wiggle room in there. You know,
for
we
sure.
want to go you want to go undefeated. You don't want to lose to A&M, but at the same time, you know, we want to know we're in the playoffs. It'd be nice to go 10-0, and you're just like, hey.
Well, and I said a successful season to me would be, I said 10-2 and a semifinal playoff appearance. Because I don't think 10-2 and simply making the playoff because we made a 14 playoff last season. I don't think that takes that step forward. Making that semifinal game in a 12-team playoff where you probably are going to get more competitive games. You are going to get more competitive matchups into December. Making it to a semifinal in December with the 12-team playoff is more impressive to me than just simply making the playoff. So a successful season to me. And like I said, I just want to see us take that step forward. You know, I just want us to show progress. That's all I care about every single year is looking better. And we've started off well.
I mean, because you can win a ball game playing bad football. You know, I mean, with the amount of talent
we've done it plenty of times.
Absolutely. And, you know, and obviously, when we've lost some of the games that we've lost in the Big 12, you know, dating back, this is not Sark. Yeah, we had the 2021 season. This is not who Sark is. That was not who Texas was under Sark. You know, he's showing there's a different standard, obviously. But
Sark was on the sideline in Fayetteville saying, "Damn, we're fucking bad."
Yeah, and I mean,
There's
like,
literally
a
video
video, yeah.
of him saying that on the sideline in Fayetteville. So, like, he knew what we were back then. He knew.
And he still won over the trust and the confidence of a lot of recruits. And then shortly after that season, or mid-June, he gets the commitment of Arch Manning. And you're talking about the football family showing their trust in Coach Sark after a 5-7 season. But we still have fans who are like, it's not him. He's not the guy. And that is crazy talk, man.
Insane.
It's so silly. And so now, obviously, you talk about another big-time sports family with the Bell family being a part of, the program now. I was got to get the kid to campus first.
The Wilson family.
The Wilson. I mean, just how many
Because you got Santana Wilson coming in. So, like.
And obviously, Pops knows ball.
Obviously.
And it's like, these are guys that are trusting Sark and his coaches with the development and the growth of their kids, not just as people or players, as men. And it's cool to know that. And so it's really, really hard not to sip a lot of Kool-Aid right now, Laciiii.
It is.
Even for somebody like me that is probably one of the last to just say it out loud, or the loudest. It's really, really hard. So with that being said, go ahead. Let's drop a Michigan prediction if you have one.
Ooh.
I said last night 30-16, and that's probably being a little nice.
But, okay. I think that is being kind of nice. I think that is being a little bit nice. I just for my own sanity, I would feel a little bit more comfortable with predicting it to be a little bit closer.
Yep.
Just because I have full faith in us, and I think that we're going to go in prepared, and I'm excited to see what we produce on Saturday. But show me. I need to see it.
Yep.
We saw it at Alabama last year. We struggled a little bit in the Rice game, really picked it up at Alabama. Obviously, winning by 10 in Tuscaloosa is no easy feat just in general, but I just need to see it. Especially with the question marks that we have, and taking into consideration Michigan's strengths, which directly align with our weaknesses. It's something with some of our weaknesses. It's something that we have to take into consideration, and it's something that we have to be very, very aware of headed into this upcoming game. But so for me, I think it's definitely going to be a much more low scoring game. My prediction is, I'm going to say 2017, Texas.
20-17?
I'm going to say 20-17, Texas.
That's, hey, same thing though, whether by 1 or by 14, I do not care whatsoever.
I don't either. I don't care.
There will be people, oh, you beat a bad Michigan team by 1 point. That's cool.
Well,
thank you for watching.
Mind. I was going to say something, but never mind.
Thanks for watching. We're 2-0. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for the
view. See you at DKR. And so that's the thing, is like, I'll say that I'm confident in Sark's ability to scheme points.
We'll score. We'll score.
And with Quinn and Sark, it just becomes where there's so much trust. And watching what Quinn did with his eyes over the course of that game, a lot of confidence after he got settled. Like you mentioned, it takes a little bit to calm down.
That no-look touchdown pass was disgusting.
I mean, just filthy. And the confidence to do that in game reps, and then there's other examples that I'll send them to you that were on the timeline where he manipulated defenses with his eyes. And Michigan I know it's the new staff, but they've been very, very aggressive on defense. And so I'm curious to see if they stay that aggressive. I think if they do, it could be a long, long game for them. But where I have confidence is I'm curious to see if they can run the ball on us. I know that Colorado State early on, they had a little bit of success. I think they had a couple of 10+ running plays, or 10-yard plus run plays. But I just think that our secondary is going to be so good at helping come up and stop the run. And then I'm not sure I've seen enough out of either quarterback in the passing game to think that they can go in and score. And so, hey, I could be wrong. Maybe no one in the world hears this 30-16 prediction, but I do have a lot of confidence. I will say that it could change overnight for me. I could be one report, see one little.
Oh, and that's the thing, is I'm a little nervous right now, but I could wake up tomorrow and be like, oh yeah, it's 48-10.
Tomorrow I'm going to be tomorrow I'm 21-20 and you're 44.
Yeah,
we'll give them 2 safeties, okay? They can get a
You know what? They got us in the end zone twice. You got to give them that. You can't do nothing about it, but unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, and I know that we just had a shutout. We probably don't shut out everyone this year. Would be cool.
Would be hella dope. Would really, really enjoy that.
I'll have one more prediction for you. Texas wins 20-17 according to you, Miss Laciiii. Who gets your game ball? Who is going to be the difference maker? One game ball. You can get two if you want.
Silas Bolden.
Okay. I like that a lot.
Bolden, because
is he gonna make a play in the offense?
A little, yes, offensive. Okay. I think that we saw a little bit of Silas on Saturday. He had a touchdown. We saw what he was able to do with Arch. He caught a couple passes from Quinn. So we saw a little bit about him, but ultimately I feel like he was one of the receivers that we heard the most about in camp. Yep. But we didn't see as much of him in the game as I expected. So that let me know that Sark's got some stuff dialed up.
Absolutely.
Sark is not going to put out film on Silas Bolden right now.
Not if there's no reason
point.
To at the moment.
There was no reason to do that. You have so many weapons that they can look at.
So, Trey, I believe she agrees with you here. There could be something cooking in the kitchen.
Yep.
Coach Sark and Silas. But yeah, making your point, in August, you heard a ton about that guy. A ton. Yeah, we're not going to talk about the muff punt, okay? Like, he did have a nice return. He did have a nice
return. Nice return. And once again, yes, muff punt. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Can't do it this
week. No, you can't do it this week. Don't do that. Stop doing that. Field it cleanly. If it's bouncing like that and you don't think that you're going to be able to field it cleanly, let it go. Let it go. Because I'd rather it end up in the end zone for a touchback and have it bounce all the way out of the end zone than to be down at the 5 because you muffed it. You know? So yeah. I don't know.
I mean, it's even on the kick return where he went down the sidelines, it was a great return. It still gave little heebie-jeebies there, the way he caught the ball on the run, defender right there. But hey, that's a man with confidence. He's and then the passion that he showed on his touchdown from Arch, that was cool. Dove in the end zone, was fully feeling himself in that moment. Like, go off, buddy. And so I'm hoping you guys are right. There's going to be some stuff that gets shown this weekend that I'm sure is probably pretty dang cool. I remember, 2022 Texas Bama, Sark window dressed the hell out of that game.
Oh, yeah.
We had formations and motions out the wazoo, and it caused some, conflict for really good Bama defense. And without a Quinn Ewers injury, well,
that's a different game.
That's a lot more pain that we're bringing up. But
period.
All right, Laciiii, do you have any topics, any other questions you may have before we get you out of here, friend?
No, I don't think so. I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much. This was so fun. Like I said, it's just one of those things. I love getting on here and talking Texas football. I appreciate you even having me on. And I just love what you're doing. I love watching you bring all the rivals and all the friends and stuff on, and how it truly just ends up becoming kind of like a little round table where you just sit and talk and have a good time. And I really enjoy it. So I just appreciate being included.
Absolutely. Well, it all, like, in full transparency, like, I mean, I decided to do this in late July, and I was like, I'm just going to reach out to, a number of people, and we'll see, if we can do one show a week, and that would be a lot of fun. Well, then very, very fortunately, every single person that you ask, yourself included, everybody says yes. And so you're like, oh,
so this could be something. Yeah,
absolutely. So how do we make it work? We want to please everybody. I don't want to say, hey, come on the channel and then make people wait 3 months. That's not cool or fair at all. And so I thank you for being a part of it, for being patient. We've been talking about it for a couple of weeks. I have a huge love just for your overall passion for Texas, your devoutness to the university, and I think that we need more people like that. Now, this is what I'm referencing when we talk about SEC football in Texas. This is an SEC football fan. I am an SEC football fan. Challenge me, challenge Laciiii. Go to DKR. I dare you to be louder than me or her. I have no idea what Laciii's like during game days, but I guarantee you it's absolutely
I lose my voice.
In the first quarter, I'm hoping.
Yeah, I lose my voice. I'm side-eyeing everybody around me that's sitting down. Yeah, I'm one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. And so with the SEC coming to Texas, people think DKR is not up to the standard as far as the environment, the crowd noise, the intimidation factor. being difficult to play in. I dare you, get your ass to DKR, be louder than us, be the loudest person in the building. The students, the student support, the student noise is at an all-time high in Austin. The best I've ever seen it. Shout out to Crystal Conte and to everybody involved with that.
Shout out to us being good. I was in
being good.
I got the Charlie year.
My guy Reagan Huggins on Twitter, legend, getting everybody in the student. He helped elevate that student atmosphere at the University of Texas.
Absolutely.
And all of those things. I mean, we talk about SARC, we talk about football. There's so many people working together in Austin that have put or helped us bring that product back that we all just kind of like salivate for. Where we're like, oh my God, Texas plays tomorrow.
Texas football.
It's like it feels so good. And so I'll give you credit. Good crowd for Colorado State, absolutely.
Fair enough.
That first and second down noise, though, brother. That's where I'm talking about.
Drives
Everybody
me
gets
nuts.
loud on third down. Let's make noise on first down. Let's make noise on second down the whole time. And I know
that's
the big games.
Be it. Yep.
The big games, it'll always be there. But let's start working on that consistency. It's not going to be overnight, and we're just two people. But I dare you to be louder. I double dog dare you, especially when we get up there in Dallas here in a couple of weeks or a month, rather. But
oh yeah. I'd like to see you try.
That's my favorite day of the year. Hopefully we can collab and do something from the state fair. It'd be a lot of fun.
That would be so fun. Yeah. I'd love to do that. That'd be a lot of fun.
Go ahead real quick before you hop off. Plug that podcast, homie. Tell them where they can find you.
We have a live show every single Monday night. So tonight, you can join me on Laced Up Live over on Laced Up X podcast on YouTube. I will be posting the link and everything to my podcast that goes live tonight on my Twitter. My Twitter is at Hook'em Laciiii, XOXO. That's my
You
Twitter.
just type in Hook'em Laciiii. It'll pop right. I think you're like the only one.
I think I'm like the only one. Yeah, it's right there.
It comes up so fast, and because I was like trying to find you in the DMs, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Because I've been in fantasy leagues and pick'ems, and my DMs are just like a mess,
flooded. Yeah,
I was like, I can't find anyone that I was talking to about the show and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, okay, so much easier to find her." That's awesome. But guys, go support her channel. Go support her on Twitter. She's a great follow. She's a great friend, and she puts out great content over there on the channel. So go get that a subscribe. Also do the same here.
I'm also on Locked On Longhorns. We go live every single day on Locked On Longhorns. We have an episode every single day over on the Locked On Longhorns YouTube channel. Me and Jonathan Davis have videos over there, and we really enjoy doing those as well. So go subscribe over there too. That would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, guys, go to show them some love. Like some videos, subscribe. It's all free to do all that stuff. Takes no time and really helping us out. And do the same here. If you're on Twitter, if you're watching this, please hop into go to my profile, follow the link to this channel, subscribe. We've got some fun stuff planned at 300 subscribers, 1K subscribers. Definitely going to embarrass the hell out of myself a little bit.
Yeah.
But the main thing is that we're running 4 or 5 shows a week. We're going to continue to bring on Longhorn guests. We're going to continue to bring on Aggies and Sooners. We did Texas State and UTSA breakdown last night. A little bit harder for me because I'm not near as knowledgeable about those games. But hey, it was fun talking to a guy that does know that stuff. So thank you guys so much for the support on the channel. Been a little over a month now, and it's really to the time of the year that's a lot of fun for Laciiii and I. So go support both channels.
We're in our prime, baby. This is our prime time. Let's go.
It's every day is Christmas right now. But thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon. Hook 'em horns, Laciiii.